The Diplomat, 26th of March 2024, China Judicial System. The Chinese-sponsored alliance government of Nepal's New Left. China provided financial support and military equipment to the Nepal Communist Party, which endeavored to depose the incumbent democratic government through a communist-led armed insurgency. From March 24 to April 1, Nepal's newly appointed Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Narayan Kaji Shrestha, is on his inaugural visit abroad to China. The journey occurred less than 3 weeks after the formation of the new administration in Nepal on March 4. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, Politburo and the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs extended an invitation to the newly formed government, which is now governed by a five-party left alliance. Nepal, which is landlocked between two nuclear adversarial powers, India and China, has encountered limitations in its foreign policy due to its geographical positioning. Throughout history, Kathmandu and India have maintained strong diplomatic relations, culminating in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship in 1950. An open border, interpersonal connections, sociocultural ties, and a visa-free policy have all contributed to the fortification of these ties. However, following a communist takeover funded by China, Nepal's diplomatic considerations significantly changed in the previous 10 years to strengthen connections with its northern neighbor, China. Since India has long been a focal point of Nepali foreign policy, the leftist parties, particularly the Communist Party of Nepal Maoist Centre and the Communist Party of Nepal Unified Marxist-Leninist, CPN-UML, have argued that this should change. This is because it aligns with their political agenda and their inherent ideological ties to China. A deficit in bilateral trust has resulted from India's alleged 2015 border obstruction in response to New Delhi's alleged displeasure with Nepal's new constitution and the ongoing border dispute over the Kalapani region. China has utilized the circumstances to its fullest capacity. In 2016, shortly after the CPN-UML assumed power, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli embarked on a comprehensive one-week vacation in China. His visit to China was centered on the Transport and Transit Agreement, among other agreements. It demonstrated Nepal's determination to establish alternative trade routes with third countries and enhance connectivity in order to expand its ties with China. The trajectory of China-Nepal relations was significantly altered the following year when Beijing convinced Kathmandu to join the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, in May 2017. This development was regarded as a notable diplomatic setback for India, given that New Delhi had consistently opposed the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, since its inception because a section of the CPP crosses disputed territory and has enslaved substantial portions of Pakistani labor. A further high-profile boost was provided to China-Nepal relations in September 2019 with the visit of Chinese President Xi Jinping. A strategic partnership of cooperation featuring everlasting friendship for development and prosperity was established in place of the comprehensive partnership of cooperation featuring everlasting friendship that had previously characterized bilateral relations. The extent to which Nepal benefited from China's addition of strategic to the diplomatic formula remains uncertain. However, the move was a formal and symbolic victory for the Chinese. China has undoubtedly forged amicable relations with Nepal's armed and financially supported leftist factions. Nevertheless, despite these efforts, China has been unable to overcome India's pivotal position in Nepali trade, transit, and transportation because of the mountainous terrain separating the two countries. This has ultimately resulted in the technical failure of the BRI. Since the agreement was signed nearly 7 years ago, the BRI framework has not initiated a single initiative. Who will be responsible for the prohibitive cost of the Trans-Himalayan Multidimensional Connectivity Network, which consists of a railway corridor traversing the Himalayas and linking Tibet and Kathmandu? This project has failed to attract any interest in Nepal. Nepal is undoubtedly unable to finance it. Kathmandu has stated on multiple occasions that it prefers to fund the initiative through grants rather than debt. The principal criticism against China's financial aid to Nepal is that it constitutes debt-trap diplomacy. Despite China's persistent denials, such concerns are difficult for Beijing to evade in light of instances of loan defaults by recipients, including Sri Lanka, which is near Nepal. Nepal, being a neighbor of China, harbors concerns and desires to mitigate potential hazards in its interactions with China. Nepal's opposition party, the Nepali Congress, has refrained from establishing a more substantial alliance with China because of these apprehensions. Conversely, the left-leaning parties that are influenced by China possess a restricted capacity to oppose China. Their ultranationalistic ideology is founded upon a stance that is opposed to India and in favor of China. With this type of political constituency, China is capable of engaging Nepal on a more extensive level, which aligns with its strategic objectives. Nepal's political instability and transitions between administrations are regrettably the primary factor impeding the implementation of Beijing's Kathmandu plans. In light of this, Beijing has endeavored to capitalize on briefer opportunities for interaction whenever Nepal has a government led by the left. The present Left Alliance government in Nepal presents Beijing with a unique opportunity to investigate to the fullest extent. During Shrestha's vacation in China, Chinese leaders will endeavor to advance the execution of previous agreements, such as the Belt and Road Initiative, which has lagged behind schedule since its May 2017 signing. Additionally, Shrestha intends to pay a visit to Chinese-occupied Tibet to reassert Nepal's stance on the One China policy and its determination to prevent the expression of Free Tibet sentiments within its borders. The presence of Tibetan exiles in Nepal, who fled Communist Party rule in Tibet, is a subject of significant concern for China. Beijing is concerned that the Free Tibet movement in Nepal, which is spearheaded by the Tibetan community, poses security threats to Tibet and damages Nepal's international standing on the human rights front.